Good morning children and welcome back to your chemistry class. Today in this chapter of chemical bonding and molecular structure we are going to discuss about VSEPR theory. So what is this VSEPR theory? It means valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. So as mentioned earlier in the limitations of that Lewis-Langier concept of the covalent bonding, that the concept is unable to explain what the shapes of the covalent molecules. So in case of these covalent molecules having say 3 or more atoms, one of the atom it acts as a central atom and rest of the atoms they are linked to it in the definite directions in the space. Clear? So this definite arrangement of the bonded atoms with the central atom in a molecule, it is known as the shape or the geometry of the molecule. So understand it once again that in the limitations of the Lewis-Langier concept of covalent bonding, what we had studied, that the concept was unable to explain the shapes of the covalent molecules. Now, if you remember the case of covalent molecules having 3 or more atoms, right? So, one of the atoms, it acts as a central atom over here and rest of the other atoms, they are linked in it to the definite directions in the space, right? So, this definite arrangement of those bonded atoms with the central atom, in a molecule, it is going to give the definite shape or geometry to the molecule. So the first theory that was put forward to predict this shape and geometry of a covalent molecule was given by this theory, that is VSEPR theory, which is called as valence shell electron pair repulsion theory, right? This theory was actually first proposed by Sedgwick and Powell, but later the theory was developed by Nyholm and Gillespie, right? So let us first understand the theory or the concept of this particular theory. So let us understand it step by step, and I am going to write it down also so that it's very clear to you. So this theory, why it is called as VSEPR theory? Because primarily it is based on the fact that the polyatomic molecules, right, the direction of the bond around the central atom, they all depend upon the total number of electron pairs, whether they are bonding or they are non-bonding, right, in the valence shell. So these electron pairs, they place themselves as far apart as possible in the space in order to have the minimum force of repulsion between them. Thus, this minimum repulsion corresponds to the state of minimum energy and maximum stability of the molecule. So, all this I am going to explain you point wise. Now, so let us understand the first point. It says that the shape of the molecule, it completely depends upon the number of valence shell electron pairs, whether they are bonded or non-bonded around the central atom, right? So the shape of a molecule, it depends on what? It depends upon the number of valence shell electron pairs. Now these electron pairs, as I told you, they can be bonded or it can be non-bonded, right? Around the central atom. Fine. So what did we understand? The central atom in a molecule, they can have paired as well as unpaired electrons, right? So these paired electrons, they exist as the lone pairs, and the unpaired electrons, they are utilized by the atom to form the shared pair of electrons. Now both the lone pairs and the bond pairs or the shared pairs, what are they together called as? They are termed as electron pairs. So the first point is very clear. Now let's talk about the second point. It says that the pairs of electrons in the valence shell, they repel one another since the electron clouds are negatively charged. So what does the second point say? It says that the pair of electrons in the valence shell repel one another. Why do they repel? Because they form electron clouds, and we know that like charges they repel. So they are all negatively charged, so they all repel each other. Okay. Then next, third point over here, that the position of the electron pairs in space around the central atom are such that they minimize repulsion. Repulsion becomes less, and thus maximum distance takes place. Thus maximize distance between them. Clear? Now, next point. I hope this is very clear to you. The position of the electron pairs in the space around the central atom. What was that? That the pairs in the valence shell, they repel one another. Why? Because of the clouds. Now the position of these electrons in the space around the central atom, they are such that they minimize repulsion. Repulsion is minimum, but they form maximum distance. Definitely repulsion is there, but minimum, but with a maximum distance, right? Now next point, every molecule, therefore, it has a tendency to acquire minimum energy, which is possible when only the bonded pairs as well as the lone pairs are at maximum distance from one another. So this point is very clear. I repeat, what did I say? That position of electrons, electron pair in the space around the central atom, they are such that they minimize repulsion and thus they maximize distance between them. That is, every molecule, it has a tendency to acquire a state of minimum energy, which is possible only when the bond pairs as well as the lone pairs there are found at the maximum distance, and this can happen with minimum repulsion. Clear? Now, due to these similar charges, okay, due to similar charges, electron pairs, they repel each other. Electron pairs repel each other. So the force of repulsion is not equal, right? It is not of equal magnitude, right? So what should be the force of repulsion? Lone pair shows maximum repulsion rather than lone pair and bond pair, or maybe bond pair with the bond pair repulsion. So maximum repulsion is between lone pair. Least repulsion is between bond pair and bond pair. And in between the two is your lone pair and bond pairs. Okay. Then next point that we should discuss over here, the electronic repulsion between two pairs of electrons, it will be minimum if they are far apart. So this is what I said, that repulsion will be minimum only when they are far apart. So on this basis we have many of the geometrical arrangements that we are going to discuss just now. Firstly, let us understand all the theory about it. Then we next come to the relative arrangement of bond pairs as well as lone pairs. It always decides the geometry, as I have already told you. Next, coming to the fifth point, that if the central atom is linked to two similar atoms, right, and it is surrounded by only the bond pair of electrons, then the repulsion between them are also similar and they result in a kind of a molecule which is called as symmetrical molecule, right? And this symmetrical molecule is said to have a regular geometry, right? So what did I say? That if the central atom, if central atom is linked to similar atoms, okay, and it is surrounded by only the bond pairs of electrons, then repulsion between them, they are also similar. Then repulsion between them is similar, right? Such kind of the shape of the molecule is symmetrical and they form a regular geometry. So let me give you some examples based on this symmetrical regular geometry. So I was talking about here regular geometry. I'm going to show you certain examples and then once again try to explain you. Let's talk about carbon dioxide. See here, carbon, double bond here, double bond here, and look at the angle, that is also 180 degree, right? Then let's take another example of BF3. So how do we form this? Boron is in between with F, F and F. Now look at the angle. They are all same, 120 degree. This is also 120 degree. This is also 120 degree. Okay. Take another example of methane. So here it is carbon, H, H, H and H. So this angle that is formed, it is 109 degrees 28 minutes, right? So this is your regular geometry. Now understand what I told you. What did I say? The molecule will have a regular geometry if what? The repulsive interaction among the electron pairs are of equal magnitude. This is what I had told you. So if you look at these examples, a molecule, it is said to have regular geometry when if the central atom, these are the central atom, right? The central atom, they are bonded to similar atoms. They are bonded to similar atoms. First point is clear. Then the central atom, it is bonded to other atoms by similar type of bonds. See, similar type of bonds, similar type of bonds, all single bond, single bond, single bond or double bond, double bond. Then there is no lone pair present on the central atom, whether here, here or there. No lone pair is present over here, and all the bond lengths, if you see, all the bond lengths between the central atom and the bonded atom, it is the same. So therefore they give a regular geometry. So these are all the points that you have to explain. If I ask you, why does BF3 show us regular geometry? Explain with the help of VSEPR theory. So what will you say? That a molecule will have regular geometry only when if the repulsive interaction amongst the electron pairs are of equal magnitude, right? This is showing you a regular geometry. Why? Because first point, the central atom is bonded to similar atoms first and foremost. Second point, what had I told you? That the central atom is bonded to other atoms by similar type of bonds. Central atom is bonded to other atoms by similar type of bonds, right? And third point was what? That there is no lone pair present on the central atom. No lone pair on the central atom, right? And the fourth important point was that all the bond lengths between the central atom and the bonded atom is the same. The bond lengths between the central atom and bonded atoms is same. So these are the 4 points. You can discuss whether you are given this or this example, right? Now let us talk about the irregular or the distorted geometry also. So over here in your irregular geometry, the molecules in which the repulsive interactions between the electron pairs around the central atom, they are unequal. Then what kind of geometry are they going to show? They will show you irregular geometry, which is also termed as distorted geometry. Clear? So let me give you certain examples here also, and then I'll explain you all the important points based on it. So let us take an example of ammonia over here. So ammonia, as you all know, it has a lone pair H, and H, right? And the angle formed over here is 106 degree 45 prime, right? And how do we form the structure over here? Let's look over here. This is the lone pair, so we show it like this: H, H and H, right? And how do we show it? Okay, so let us first understand when do we get the irregular geometry, then I'll explain about this also. So molecule, it will have irregular geometry if the repulsive interaction among the electron pairs around the central atoms, they are not of equal magnitude. Clear? In the irregular geometry, what we need to understand over here is, first point, that the central atom is not bonded to all similar atoms. Okay, so example you can take over here like CHCl3. Then second point, the central atom, it has one or more lone pair of electrons in addition to the bond pairs. It has one lone pair along with the bond pairs. Okay, so the central atom has one or more lone pair of electrons in addition to the bond pairs. Means in the regular geometry there was no lone pair, but in irregular geometry there is one or more lone pair along with the bond pairs, right? Third important point about it, the central atom may be bonded to similar atoms but has a different bond length. Okay, so the central atom may be bonded with similar atoms, right, but has different bond lengths, right? For example, if we are going to study about like phosphorus pentachloride, this is a good example for this. And then the fourth point with respect to irregular geometry, what kind of compounds show irregular geometry? The central atom which is bonded to other atoms by single as well as multiple bond, then they are termed as irregular, then they show irregular geometry. What did I say? That the central atom is bonded to other atoms by single as well as multiple bonds. Okay, then also they show distorted or irregular geometry. For example, you can take SO3 over here, right? Now let us talk about, and even ammonia is also one example here, water is another example, and so on. So let's talk about ammonia now. Now look at this shape. In this ammonia, nitrogen, it is surrounded by 3 bond pairs and 1 lone pair, right? So according to this VSEPR theory, as lone pair and bond pair, lone pair, bond pair, lone pair, bond pair, right? So what kind of a pair it is? Lone pair and bond pair repulsion is greater than the bond pair, right? The molecule has a irregular geometry. It shows a pyramidal geometry, right? With, if you see your HNH bond, this your HNH bond, it forms 106 degrees 45 prime, which can also be said as 107 degrees in some of the books. Okay, so some of the other examples also which show pyramidal geometry, they could be your hydronium ion or even nitrogen fluoride. Now let's take one example of water. Now, what do you know about water? Water, it has 2 lone pairs if you remember, and it is attached to hydrogen. What is the angle that is formed over here? It is 104 degree 5 prime, right? So over here in this water molecule, what did we see? The central atom, oxygen, it is surrounded by 2 bond pairs and 2 lone pairs. 2 bond pairs and 2 lone pairs. So what kind of a structure is it forming? It is forming a tetrahedral geometry, right? According to your VSEPR theory. So now according to your VSEPR theory, the lone pair repulsion is more than your lone pair and bond pair, which is still more than bond pair. So in water molecule, you will see a bent structure or an angular structure of what you can say a V-shaped geometry is formed over here, right? So your HOH angle is how much? 104 degrees 5 prime. So it has less bond angle. What happened? The repulsion will be more, and therefore this is going to come inside and repulsion takes place. So it has less bond angle than ammonia. Ammonia has how much? 106 degrees. Here it is 104 degrees. There it was, the repulsion was between lone pair and bond pair, which is quite less than lone pair and lone pair, as I had told you over here somewhere. Lone pair is okay, I forgot to write. No, I wrote it somewhere. Lone pair maximum repulsion, then lone pair bond pair less, and bond pair they show least repulsion. So here maximum repulsion will take place, and thus when the repulsion takes place, what happens? The inner angle is going to squeeze in. So instead of forming 106 degrees 49 prime, it is going to form 104 degrees 5 prime. So I hope this irregular geometry is also very clear to you. So now, according to your VSEPR theory, number of molecular geometries that we are going to discuss just now. So over here, there a certain notation is given to the molecular geometries. What are they? Like for example, you will see AX2E2 or something like this, or maybe AX2 you will find somewhere you will see I will be writing AX4E and so on. So what do all these mean? Over here, A is the central atom. What is the A? A is your central atom. What is X denoted to? X denotes the terminal atoms. That is the terminal atoms, right? And then what does E show? E, it shows the lone pairs. E depicts the lone pairs, right? So over here now I will be explaining you certain examples, and we will also discuss their molecular geometry according to the VSEPR notations. Okay, so here I will write VSEPR notations. Okay, molecular geometry. We will also discuss some examples based on it. Okay, so let us move to the first type, that is AX2. Now AX2 means it does not have a lone pair. Central atom is A and the extended atom is your X. So what could be the example? Examples are like your BeCl2, beryllium fluoride is also an example. Another example could be zinc chloride, or maybe mercury chloride and all that. So what is the molecular geometry that we are going to see over here? Over here they show a linear structure. What is the linear structure? Like for example, beryllium chloride. So this is the linear structure it shows, or with beryllium fluoride. Okay, they all show linear structure of VSEPR notation AX2, and these are some examples. Now next, like AX3, maybe BF3, right? So firstly what do? We see the Lewis structure of BF3, and then we will find that in BF3, B is your central atom, right? And if we draw the Lewis dot structure, F and F. What are the valence electrons of fluorine? Fluorine atomic number is 9. So 9 means 7 valence electrons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Similarly this. Okay. So, and what about boron? It is 5. So this is how it is bonded. So over here what do we see? That the B atom, it is surrounded by 3 bond pairs. There is no lone pair. So according to the VSEPR theory, they must be situated at an angle of say 120 degrees, as they will experience minimum repulsion over here, right? And therefore they show a triangular planar structure. Okay, what is this? This is a triangular planar structure. It can be formed like this, B, F, F and F. This is your triangular planar structure. Okay, then third one could be like AX2E. So let's take an example of this. What is the shape of this SO2 structure? It is something like this. They have a lone pair, a double bond oxygen here and a double bond oxygen here, and they form an angle between OSO is your 119 degrees 5 prime. Okay, so what kind of a structure does it show? It shows us the V-shaped structure, right? The molecule, it contains what? 3 electron pairs. Fine. So it should have a 1 pair, 2 pair and 3 pairs. 3 pairs of electrons. So it should have a trigonal planar geometry, but due to the presence of this lone pair, the geometry gets distorted and therefore it forms a V shape because there is maximum repulsion and the angle formed gets reduced to 119 degrees 5 minutes. So what kind of a structure? It forms a V-shaped geometry. Let's see AX4. AX4 could be like example could be your methane. We already know the structure of methane is what? It is tetrahedral. Do I have to explain it over here? So you already know it is tetrahedral. Okay. Then let's talk about the fifth one, AX3E. AX3E, the molecule containing 3 bonding electron pairs and 1 lone pair is going to be shown by this VSEPR theory. So for example, it could be like NH3 over here. The Lewis structure also you know about it. This is the Lewis structure of ammonia. So nitrogen, if you see, it is bonded by 4 electron pairs. 3 are the bonded and 1 is the lone pair, right? So these 4 pairs, they adopt a tetrahedral geometry, and due to the presence of lone pair, what happens? Ammonia gets a distorted tetrahedral geometry and the bond angle is not now 109 degrees 28 prime, but it because of the much repulsion, it is going to form 106.5. The actual shape, due to distorted geometry, it is going to form a pyramidal structure. Okay. Then let's talk about the sixth. After AX3E, it could be like AX2E2. AX2E2. E means this compound should have 2 lone pairs. Okay. So example is your water. So what do we know about water? Hydrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, isn't it? So this is the Lewis dot structure. So oxygen atom, if you see, it is surrounded by 4 electron pairs. What are they? 2 are bonded and 2 are the lone pairs. So these 4 electron pairs, they adopt the tetrahedral arrangement, but due to the presence of lone pairs, it brings distortion in the geometry, and thus the lone pairs, they repel the bonded pairs more effectively, and it results in the bond angle of what? 104 degrees 0.5 instead of 109 degrees 28 prime. So actually this water molecule also shows what? The V-shaped structure. Okay. Some more examples could be like even your PbCl2 also shows the same structure over here. Then let's talk about AX5 notation. AX5 notation could be PCl5. Okay, so it is P is the central atom. This is Cl, this is Cl, this is Cl, and okay, so this is the structure of your PCl5. Now if you look over here, P, which is the central atom, it is surrounded by 5 bond pairs. Okay, so to have the minimum energy, the bond pairs of electrons, they should be as far as possible from each other. So what kind of a structure do they form? They form trigonal bipyramidal. Okay, so in this geometry, all the bond angles are not equal. All bond angles are not equal, right? So if you see the axial bonds, right, they are of 90 degrees. This is your 90 degrees, and the bond angles in the triangle, they are of 120 degrees, right? So the two PCl bonds, they are longer as compared to the 3 equatorial bonds. So this is due to the fact that the axial bond experiences greater repulsion than these bonds, the 3 bonds. Okay, so that was the structure of PCl5. Now I will be quickly explaining you all others like AX4E. Now AX4E, it shows us a seesaw structure like your SF4. This SF4 shows two structures. One is your like this, it has a lone pair. Okay, so F, and F. So if you see over here, this is the axial one. Okay, so this is one way. This is the first type it shows, and the second type is S, F, and F. This structure is more stable than this one, right? The structure, the first one, if you see, the lone pair is on the axial position. It is on the axial position. While if you see over here, the lone pair is on the equatorial position. Thus, because at the equatorial position, it is going to experience lesser repulsion than the structure. Thus, the structure 2, this one, it is described as your seesaw structure, right, where the bonded angles are at 89 degrees and 117 degrees instead of 90 and 120 degrees respectively. Okay, then 8th type is your AX3E2. Example could be ClF3 is one of the examples over here. So this molecule, it has 5 electron pairs, and it should have a trigonal bipyramidal structure, which 2 positions are occupied by the lone pairs, and therefore it shows a distorted structure. And what is that distorted structure that it shows? It shows a T-shaped structure. You can see it like this. These are the 2 lone pairs. Okay, fluorine, fluorine. So this is the T shape that it forms. Then the ninth one, AX2E3. It forms a linear structure, and the example to AX2E3 could be your xenon fluoride. Okay. Then next one, AX6, and this shows your octahedral structure. For example, SF6, right? So over here, S, and all this is your F. This gives you SF6. Then 11th one, AX5E, means one lone pair is present over here. So this gives you a square pyramidal structure, right? Now it has one lone pair, do remember. So it can be shown like this. Suppose I take an example of SB5, okay, antimony chloride. So here antimony, it is chlorine, then there is a lone pair over here. Okay, so this makes it SbCl5. And the last one would be AX4E2, and this forms a square planar compound, and the example could be like XeF4. So over here, this xenon, it is going to contain two lone pairs along with. So if you look at this structure, you will find that it has 6 electron pairs and should have the octahedral geometry, in which two positions they are occupied by the lone pairs, this and this, right? So this molecule, it shows you a square planar. So I stop over here, and in your next video we shall be discussing about hybridization. Okay, thank you.